we was discussing about we'll have a revision next. Revision in the sense, briefly I'll explain what we did in the last session, then we'll go to the next session, the concepts, and today's concepts are very important. Okay, and this is related to machine learning. I'm going to give some brief introduction, practical hands-on session on machine learning, also how to build the model. Okay, so in last session we was discussing about how to install the servers called the instances. Okay, and now you know how to install Windows as well as the Ubuntu. Okay, so if you're finding any difficulty, you can refer my video YouTube channel. So it is under process. Okay, process in the sense I'm uploading the video. It will take a little time. Fine. So today's agenda is we are going to discuss about storage service, nothing but S3. S3 stands for simple storage services. Suppose if you take any computer, if you have a processor, RAM, etc. Okay, it will work actually as far as cloud is concerned. But for us, data is important. Okay, for us, data is a new oil. Okay, so there should be some system where we can store the data. Okay, so when we have data, then only it is possible to work on that data. So when the data is increasing, when you have a huge amount of data, then using that data we can predict using different machine learning algorithms. Okay, so in today's session we are going to have a brief introduction of S3. As far as S3 is concerned, there are four areas for this storage system, divided in three types here. The first one is S3 itself. In S3 we can store any type of a file, image file, audio file, video file. Okay, mixed format of the data. Understood? So after storing the data in S3, we can give the permission whether you can decide whether to share that data with the other the clients, or just to give the read permission or write permission, etc. All those options are available. Next, in the same way, okay, along with the S3, it comes with storage system, also comes with another the option called Glacier. In Glacier, what happened? S3 will not provide a backup. Suppose, say, in local system, if you are deleting the file, okay, it's very difficult to take the backup. Backup in the sense, even if you delete from the trash, it's not possible. Okay, it's not possible to take the backup of that file. But Amazon gives 99.9999% of availability of the data. Even if you delete the file from the Amazon, okay, it will make sure that some mirror copy, image copies are available in your AWS. So that can be performed using the Glacier. Even after deleting, suppose let us say you want that file again, so we can take the backup easily using the Glacier services. Okay, but the problem with the Glacier is it takes a lot of time. Suppose you take 10 MB of data, you want to take the backup, deleted file. Okay, so it will take around 1 or 2 hours to take the backup. That is the problem. Okay, due to that one, because of the time, the amount of time which takes. Okay, so the prices are also very low compared to S3. Similarly, we have EFS. Next part of the storage system is EFS. EFS stands for Elastic File System. I think you might have experience in lab sharing of the file, sharing of the folder. Okay, so even I have seen the students, they share the folders, actually share during exam time. Okay, so that they can copy the programs. Okay, so sharing of the file, it's possible. From one instance, you can share the data which is available into the other instance. Okay, so we'll have a demonstration part, then only you will understand what is EFS is. Okay, so in the same way, next comes the mounting. Okay, AWS storage gateway. So here generally what happens, let us say you have the hard disk. I'll show my hard disk. Let me again. Yeah, let me show the hard disk. Let us say gateway in this what happened. Let me show the PC. And yeah, so these are the hard disk drives. I have local disk C, D, and local disk E. Now suppose, let us say I want to mount one more hard disk drive, the hard disk drive which is in AWS, and I want to mount that hard disk drive in my local system. Okay, so to have that hard disk, virtual hard disk drive on my local system, we can make use of the concept called, okay, AWS storage gateway system. One by one we will try to learn. If possible, let's try to have a brief introduction about RDS. RDS stands for Relational Database Services. Okay, so which is very important when you started creating the data. Okay, so somewhere we need to store that data so that we can manage that data and we can process the data for the to the next level. So as far as RDS is concerned, Amazon is concerned, it supports for the database like MariaDB, next PostgreSQL, next SQL Server, similarly MySQL, as well as Oracle. If time permits, we try to see, okay, how to connect with the MySQL. But Amazon Amazon claims that, okay, if you compare MariaDB, PostgreSQL, SQL Server, MySQL, and Oracle, Amazon Aurora is 5 times faster than all these database systems. Okay, so they claim that, and I haven't experienced, so I should use, we will try to use even the Amazon Aurora, and let's see how faster it is compared to our the old database system. And as far as RDS is concerned, remember, this is not an database, it is just a platform, okay, which will allow us to create the database and manage the database. Okay, and the RDS will support for all these different types of a database. Okay, let's dive into hands-on session. Okay, let's start with the hands-on session. In the last session, what I did, let's go to console. We'll go to console now. Okay, so yeah, this is my console. In last session, we learned how to install Ubuntu, how to install Windows Server. Okay, even a little bit I demonstrated how to install the WordPress also. Let's start from the WordPress. Next, we'll go for the storage system. Okay, so why I'm demonstrating WordPress means, okay, all the data, first to manage the data, to work on the data using machine learning concepts, first we need to create the data. Okay, so to create the data, we should design the sources of the data. So out of which, the one of the best sources is the WordPress. Okay, so using WordPress, we can design the forms, and we can ask the clients to enter the data into the their respective data, and using that data, we can analyze it. So let's start with the WordPress, then we'll go for S3, a system. Okay, so firstly, we will try to install this. Yesterday we was finding some difficulty, still I'm finding some difficulty while searching the password. Okay, so let me try to launch the new one, launch new instance. I'll be very quick now. Launch the new instance. Is this audible, participants? Participant, you can unmute, and yeah, you can unmute, yes, and yeah, you can ask the questions. Is this clear now? Screen is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. Clear, right? Okay. So
Yes,
yes, let's go to now AWS Market. Same thing, same procedure I'll follow. AWS Market. Next, we'll go for WordPress. Okay, so the journey of machine learning starts from here. WordPress to generate the data. Machine learning algorithm, we cannot work, or it will not give the accurate result when you have small amount of data. Machine learning algorithms require a huge amount of data. When you have huge amount of data, accuracy of that algorithm will be better. Understood? It gives the perfect result. Otherwise, it's of no use of running algorithms with the small amount of data. That is the reason. First, let's see how to design the sources for generating the data. WordPress, I'll go to WordPress. Okay, here I'll select Bethnami. Bethnami, one of the famous organization which provides WordPress platform. Okay, if you want, you can go for SSL, but here this comes under free tier. I'm going to install all the software which comes under the free tier options. This takes time. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so these are the modules, actually types, okay, which is provided. Now here what I will do, I'll go for T2 micro only, because T2 micro is a free tier architecture instance type. So later on you can auto scale this, how the amount of data is increasing slowly. What the system itself will try to migrate from T2 architecture to next instance types. Okay, next is, let's go to continue. So the process is here same as we have experienced in while installing the Windows and Ubuntu. Okay. It's taking time. Yeah, here also I'll use a T2 tier architecture. Next, configure the instance. Configure instance details. So this is the configuration. Launch auto scaling group. I will have only one server. One, not WordPress means one server. Okay. Next is add storage. So the storage here, what AWS offer is, it's taking time. Oh yeah, number of instance, it should be one. Okay, one at least instance. Next, process it. So by default, it gives an the space of 10 GB. I don't think so. In the beginning, we required 10 GB of space. Okay, for the storage of the data. That depends upon the company. Actually, we can reduce it. Let me reduce this one to 2 GB, since we are using for this one for training purpose. I will not add any tags here over here. So leave as it is. If you want, you can add the tag by hitting on this button. Okay, configure security group. Next, after configuration, see the most important, since it is in web development, web-based system. So obviously, I'll be accessing using HTTP protocol. HTTP. Okay, so I will use both here, HTTP and HTTPS. By default, I'll keep SSH. Okay, so this you mark it as, since it is web development for marketing purposes, for accessibility, better you assign this one to anywhere. Okay, so mark on anywhere. Next, preview and launch the instance, simple as it is. Okay, launch it. Here the key pair, as far as key pair is concerned, okay, so I will use the existing key pair. I don't want to create more and more key pair, because if you create more key pairs, it will be confused. Next, suppose let us say you have 10 instances. Okay, so you will be having 10 key pairs, so it's very difficult to manage later on. Okay, when you have bulky amount of the key pairs, I'll use internship. Yesterday the key pair what I have generated, same key pair I will use, acknowledge it. Okay, launch instance. This server will take time. Okay, so for initialization and for the complete launch of the server. Okay, anyways, retrieve the task, showing some error. Okay, no problem. Okay, it's showing some, we have committed some mistake here. That's the reason it's showing the problem here. 2 GB is very smaller here. This says 2 GB is very smaller. So this is the process. After that, you will get in launch here. Now let me go to my console. Already yesterday we have designed one, the WordPress server. I'll go to console. Wait a minute, it's processing. Yep. it's processing, it's taking time because all the deployment, all the process takes place in the data center which is located in Mumbai. Okay, I'm just using my local the computer just to give the instruction. That's it. All the process is taking place in the data centers here. So here these are the instances, current instances which are running. Okay, this is a complete report of my the console. Now let's go to instances, the list of instances here. List of instances. It's taking time. Wait. Hello, participants.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go to the list of instances what we have created so far. It's taking time. Okay. Yeah. Now it started processing. One second. Yeah. So can you see here? Okay, so that was a the process how to launch the WordPress, just like what how you followed in Ubuntu and Windows 2016. Same thing you can follow here also. Okay, what mistake we committed there? We gave the small space. I think it was better to give the 10 GB of space itself. Okay, you can try in your assignments. Okay, now next I will select this. Now I have to connect this WordPress. So here you will get all the details. Okay, all the details of the WordPress. For me, the most important here is this IP address. Okay, so this is the domain name actually. So later on we can convert it into domain name. Suppose that I say I have a company called Xerxez, so that IP address I can convert it into domain name later on. So I'll copy this. I'll copy and I will paste this one in my URL. Okay. I'll copy and paste this one in URL. So this is the front page of the site. Later on, I don't want to dig into this WordPress because this is the other part. I just want you to teach how to create the WordPress server using AWS system. Now next, suppose if I want to go to the dashboard here, so what I will do, type /wp hyphen login. Either you can use login or wp/admin.php. Okay, so it will take you to this login address. Understood? Next is the most important. We require here the username and the password. Okay, so that we can log in into this system. So to get the username and password, go to again mark here WordPress server, go to action. So under action, but before that, okay, so make sure that your status check is 2x2 checks. Okay, so immediately you cannot enter into the server. Understood? Because it will be initializing all the database. Okay, all the sub servers, what are the components are required, it will initialize it. It will take around 4 to 5 minutes. Next, later on what happened, this you will get this mark, correct? That means your server is ready for the deployment purposes. So next, once the server is ready, go to actions. Okay, so under actions there is an option called instance settings. Okay, under instance setting you will get an option called get the system log. Okay, so the moment when you click on the get system log, so you'll get all the details of your server WordPress. Here it's very difficult, so you have to thoroughly analyze. Okay, each and every line here. Somewhere you will find the username and password of this WordPress. Okay, so most probably generally you will get the password and user in between the asterisk symbols. Okay, so here I'm not able to find the password and user here. If I, it will take a lot of time. So in between this, okay, somewhere in between this, you will get the username and the password here. Okay, so once after getting on the username and password, just one second, let me check again. It's not possible. Okay, after getting the username and password, you can search here for the username and password. You just put that username and password here. Okay, so similarly, I have my own company the login address here. Okay, so let me demonstrate this. You'll get the username and password. Just put that username and password here next to login. Okay, so let's log in. You will get this dashboard. So later on, after this, till here, your job. Okay, as if you are working as an AWS expert or console manager. Okay, so till here it is your job. Okay, so to give the username and password, later on it is the job of the web developers. Okay, so they design as per their the requirements. Okay, so this is how we can deploy the specific servers in AWS system. Let me come out of this. Okay, let me again go to console. So this is how we are installing the instances. I hope you are clear now. Okay, how to install the instances, which is the heart and soul of any cloud-based system. Okay, so next is let's go to S3 now. Okay, S3 stands for simple storage services, which is widely used for storage purposes. Okay, so again I'll go to services. Next, under services, these are the plenty of services. So S3, either you can type directly from here, or in the left corner you will get the option here. So under option, there is an option called S3. Okay, click on S3. Click on S3. Click on S3. It is taking time. Okay, so the moment when you hit on S3, you will get this dashboard. Okay, so this dashboard. So here in local system, we say drives, right? Okay, we say drives. We have C drive, we have D drive, we have E drives. Okay, but in the Amazon Web Services, or you take any cloud-based platform, those drives are called buckets. Okay, so buckets, and the symbol of the bucket is here. It looks like this. Okay, drive means you have to migrate now. Drive means it's a bucket. Okay, under one bucket, okay, you can create any number of buckets. Okay, so you can have a library systems. Understood? Under that, we can put any type of a file. Either it can be audio file, video file, etc. And if you differentiate your if you want to differentiate your local drive with the bucket, is local drive is static in nature. That means if you have partition for 50 GB, we cannot extend that drive for 60 GB. Let us say you have more data, so we cannot store that extra data in local drive. But in the case of bucket, it's not like that. Suppose you have 20 GB of the data, so Amazon Web Services will allocate you only 20 GB, not more than that. Understood? Suppose let us say you are started adding more and more data, and it is exceeding 60 GB. So that means automatically that 20 GB will get converted into a 60 GB. Okay, so this is one of the beautiful, one of the best service provided. Actually, AWS started this Amazon Web Services from S3 services. Okay, they started first the S3, later on they started adding more and more services in the same platform. Now they have reached more than 150 services, okay, which are available in AWS services. Anyways, so already I had created one the bucket. Okay, in this bucket I have my personal information, like my email, like Aadhaar card, next PAN card, etc. Now let us try to create one more bucket. So to create one more bucket, hit on create bucket. So you will be redirected to this give the bucket name, and while assigning the bucket name, make sure that you assign the specific name. Suppose okay, your company is having 4 department. 4 department means better you give the bucket name as similar name. HR department means give HR department, human resource development. Okay, so if you have finance, you give finance. Okay, so like that, it's very easy for us later on, okay, to search the data. Okay, so next is bucket name. So let us have, I'm going to, internet connection is constant. Yeah, I'm going to run some machine learning program for HR, my human resource data. So what I will do, okay, I will create the bucket using human resource, for human resource, and here all the name. Okay, so whatever the name you give in small letter, capital letter is not acceptable, and the location of my bucket is obviously the Mumbai region, since I have chosen the data center as Mumbai region. So same will be allocated. Now here, copy settings from the existing. No, I don't want to copy anything here. Just either you can hit on create or you can go for the next. Okay, so I'll go for the next. Okay, this bucket, human resource bucket, is already exist. So that means I cannot create. Why is showing this error? Participant, can you tell me why this error is displaying? Bucket already exists. Participants, you can unmute and ask. Say why it is showing. Yeah, why
it is already exists, sir.
Where?
Sir, in the bucket.
Bucket. See, as far as my local machine is concerned, I have created only one. No, I have XER, XZ, but this bucket name is not available. But why is showing it is already exist? Can anyone tell me? Participants, be reflexive. Don't hesitate. Whatever if you know, just say. Nothing to worry. Don't worry. Yeah. Why it's showing human? It's already exists because where the data are stored. Where I'm storing the data. Participants.
Sir.
Yeah, where I'm storing the data. My data, I'm storing the data where? In the data center, which is located where? In Mumbai, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that whatever the operation I'm performing here, that will be reflected in that data center. So in that data center, the name human resource bucket is already exist. Hope you are understanding. Understood? So human resource bucket is already exist in that data center. That is the reason it is not accepting that bucket. So what I will do, I'll start with the prefix called XER, XEZ, XEZ. Next HR I will give. Is it okay? Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now next, click on next. Okay. So now here they will ask for versions. Keep all versions of the object in the same bucket. No, I don't want to. I want to create more and more buckets. If I have more departments, I want to create more buckets. So next, the most important, just don't modify, configure here. Okay, keep as it is. Default decryption, I don't want that default decryption because I'm not going to have the data in terms of terabyte. Okay, so next, go to next. Here, the most important permissions. See, in buckets, what happened? You can give the permissions. Permission in the sense, either we can give read permission or write permission. So after uploading your data in the bucket, okay, and that bucket you can share with the other clients or other participants. Understood? So that they can modify it. So before sharing, so we can set the permission. No, I will give only read permission. That means in that case, they cannot download that file. So they can only read that file. Understood? So in the same way, you can give edit permission also. In that case, what happened? They can edit your file also. Okay. So here, what I will do for the instance of time, I don't want to block here. See here, block public access to the bucket. Okay, block public access to the bucket and object granted through access control list. Okay, there are many options. Block public access to the bucket and object granted through new public bucket or access point policies. Okay, we can have access point policies also. Okay, next, what I will do for the instance of time, I don't want to block anything, so I want to give full access. Okay, full access for the bucket. So let us say I will uncheck this. I will uncheck this, but yeah, I think it's not possible for the first time. We acknowledge, yeah. Later on, after uploading the data, we will try to uncheck all this, the permissions. Now next, I will hit on next. Hit on next, block all public access. Okay, so this is a configuration of my bucket now, right now, but I have to modify this. Okay, so later on. Now next, create the bucket. Now let me refresh. Now, yeah, now you can see one more bucket got created, right? Okay, one more bucket got created, and which is stored where in the Asia specific the region. Now hit on this bucket. Okay, so you will see it will ask, hit on this bucket, and this is going to be the root bucket for you. Okay, so now hit on this bucket, it will ask for to upload the data. So for the instance of time, what I will do, I'll upload one data here, simple data I will upload. Okay, so there are two options. Either you can upload the data, or again you can create the directory here. Okay, so next, just for the instance of time, I will create one simple, I'll upload some simple data here, add file, click on add file. So next, let me go to desktop. Let me check whether I have any file. Yeah, I'll have a QR code. I will upload this QR code. Okay, so now the QR code got uploaded. Now go to next. Go to next. Next is, okay, so I can give here consume.cs is the read. Okay, he is the owner of this the file. Okay, he is having both the permission like read as well as write. Okay, so if even I can give the permission for other users also, right from here. If I have the username, I can directly give the permission, access permission. Okay, for the instance of time, I'll keep this one as default. I don't want to modify anything here. Next is next. Hit on next. Okay, so here keep the standard itself. I don't want to modify further here. Let it be standard here. Next, later on we'll see all this option. What is that? Intelligent tearing, standard IEA, glacier. Okay, one zone IEA, all these things. Even archive, it is possible to archive using the glacier the services. Now next is go to hit on next. Okay, so all the configuration will get displayed here. Next, upload it. Okay, next, upload the file. Understood? Now file got uploaded. Now I want to check whether it is possible to access this file from AWS console or not. Okay, to check whether it is possible or not to access the document from the AWS console or not. Just hit on this, click on this file. Understood? So the moment when you click on this file, they will display. It will display. Okay, all the configuration what we have made here. Suppose let us say I can download, I can copy the path, and I can select the form. This is the key name of the file. Size of the file is this one. Now next is, these are the other area. Now most important, object URL. This is the URL. As soon as uploading the data, after uploading the data on my AWS, I can share this URL so that other can access this data. Let me try this. Okay, let me check, cross verify whether it is possible to access this file or not. Okay, so the moment, can you see this? The moment when I clicked, wait a minute, let me go back. Let me go back. One second, let me go back. It's taking time. Wait, I have to create. I have to open this file in new Windows. So Yes. One second. It's taking time now. Okay, so I have this URL. Okay, so this is the URL of the data which is stored. Let me open this one in new window. Okay, open in new window. So the moment when you open this one in new window, okay, it gives an XML error that access is denied. That means I cannot access this file from AWS server. So that means I have uploaded, but I have not given any permission to access this data. So let's try to modify that. So to modify this, so what you have to do is, this is the complete detail of my file. Next, go to permissions, hit on permissions. Okay, so here on permission, yeah, here you have to give the permission for everyone. So this is, yeah, go to public access and give the permission for everyone, and the permission will be like access object, read object. Okay, so read object, as well as I'll give even the access to this object, read as well as write. I'll give all the permissions and save it. I'll give all the permission and save it. Let me again try whether it is possible to access the file or not. Let me refresh this. Yeah, it is, again it is not possible because I have to give the permission even for the bucket also. Again, I'll go to this xerxes.hr, which is the folder. Inside this folder my file is located. Okay, so okay, let me go back again. Okay, here select this folder, okay, so where my file is located. Okay, here you can see all the permission access. Okay, the permission access of this folder. That means like how we are giving the permission for the file, similarly we have to give the permission for the folder also. Specifically, that depends. Okay, in company what happen, you can give the specific permission. If the person is working in finance, okay, you can give the permission for only for the content which folders or the files which comes under the finance. Okay, he is not permitted to access the files of HR department. Okay, so here with the moment when you click on this xerxes.hr folder, you'll get this option. Under this, okay, click on permissions. Okay, here permissions. Yeah, here see, here we have to edit this, block all the public access. I tried in the beginning, but it was not happening because data is required, the file is required, then only you can modify this. Again, you go to edit. Okay, here it is checked now. Uncheck this, uncheck, block all the public access and save it. Save it and type confirm. It is asking us to confirm because just to confirm whether okay automation is taking place or the human is performing this task. Okay, so next, this is done. Now next, go to public access overview. Let's go to overview. Okay, now you can, okay, click this. Now I'm inside the folder called xez. Now you can check here again. Let me try to hit on this, hit this link again. Okay, again it is not possible. It is not, it is showing like permission, again it is denied. That means I cannot access this file. Okay, so why it is means, yeah, again it is not possible to access this link, because again after giving the public access for my the folder, again I have to give the public access for my the file. Okay, again you go to permissions, here hit on, okay, give this ID, okay, read and write, save it. Again here public access, click on public access, click on public access, read and write. Hit on read and write, permission I'll give, full permission I'll give, save it. Okay, save it. Again we'll try. Okay, again go to overview. Okay, hit on, click on this link. Now we will see whether we are able to access this file or not. Yes. Can you see participants? Please reply. So I can access the file now. Understood? No?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So in S3, what happens? Okay, this little bit complicated. You have to concentrate. In S3, what happened? First, you have to create the bucket called folder. So after creating the bucket, you put any one sample data. Okay, so sample data. After putting the sample data, you have to give the permission for both folder as well as a file. Understood? And this is applicable. If why it is so means, suppose let us say you are working on CSV data, okay, and you want to forward that CSV data to machine learning modules. Understood? So while to forward that CSV data to machine learning format, you have to grant the permission for your CSV data. Understood? So that's the reason. Permissions, I hope you are cleared how to give the permission. Now again what I will do, I will upload my data set now. Okay, so I'll upload the data set. So to upload the data set, what is the procedure? Can anyone explain me how we can upload the data here? I'll go to my bucket. So my bucket is xerxes.hr. Okay, so this is the front end of your the main frame of my S3 bucket, where I have two buckets. Okay, xerxes.hr as well as xerxes. So here already I have given the full permission for this public object can be accessed public. So next, click on this. Click on this one. Already one object I have here. Next, what I will do, I'll try to put the data set here. I'll try to upload the data set. But before uploading the data set, what I will do, let me hover over my data set. So I have one simple data set here, sample data set for student performance, how the performance of the student is. Now I want to predict whether the student can be promoted to the next level, or okay, his performance is, I just want to predict whether the student performance is good or bad. Okay, so this is the data set I have. I have downloaded this data set from Gaggle sites. So most of my data set will be, okay, I'm using from the Google Gaggle data sets. Okay, so this is the data set where we have the attributes like gender. Next, here race, okay, ethnicity. Next, we have parental level of education. Next, we have lunch. Next, we have, okay, test preparation courses. Next, we have math score. Next, we have reading score. Next, we have writing score. Okay, so I have this much amount of data, and in machine learning, remember, students will get confused whether this is parameter or attributes. When it is in data set, when you are using this .csv data set, these are considered as an attributes. So these are attributes. When you are passing this one to the machine learning module, this will be considered as an parameter. Okay, so what I will do, I will consider the moment when I pass this one to the model. Next, this gender will be considered a parameter. Under this parameter, we have this many data. Okay, so this just print in your brain. Since you are in beginning of the machine learning, stage, machine learning programming stage. So just keep these are the attributes and these are the data, and this data is in CSV format. These are the attributes, and when the moment when I pass this one to any machine learning model, this will be considered as a parameter. Okay, so now next my first task is, before passing this one to my machine learning model, it is very important to store the data. No? Yes or no? To store the data. Okay, so after storing the data, I can forward that one to my machine learning model. So to store the data, obviously I'll make use of my S3 bucket. Now let me cancel. I don't want this to save again. Don't save this. Okay, so I'll what I will do now. Let me minimize this. Why to minimize? Yeah. Next, I'll have the same procedure, upload. Okay. Next, go to add file. Add file. Next, under add file, let me check where I have that. Yeah, under this SQL Server RPA. 1 second. AWS. Training projects. Yeah. Next, machine learning data set. I have two data set here: student performance and HR data analysis. We'll see all those data sets. Student performance data set. Okay. So next, hit on OK. So now next, just I think I'll click on upload. Okay, I will not go for other permission. It is taking time now. You can see now the data set is uploaded, right? Data set is uploaded, and the size of the data set is somewhat around 70.3 KB. Now let me give the permission. Now rest of the procedure is same here. Let me give the permission. Now as far as this data set is concerned, okay, so this is the configuration and this is the URL. Later on I'm going to use this URL in machine learning model. Okay, so this is the property. Next, granted. Okay, read and write permission granted. Let me check again, okay, whether to give public access or not. Okay, so here I will click on everywhere. Everyone can access it. Okay, read object, access read object. Similarly, read object permission as well as write object permission. So I've given the public access even for this data set. Let me check, okay, whether it is possible to access from the URL. Okay, now right click and open in URL. Yes, I can. Can you see here? I have downloaded the data set, right? So downloading is nothing but I have the full permission on this data set now. Okay, so any doubt here, students? You can unmute and ask, please.